Hello and welcome again to this GD Express screencast with me, Teacher Marco here at Phuket Pals. Today, we will focus on your GED Social Studies, and I will talk about a topic that is 100% will be on your test, on the actual test. A lot of questions are pertaining to this, and um, today we will talk about that, the Bill of Rights. All right. So, what is the Bill of Rights? So, the United States Bill of Rights comprises the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution. Basically, it spells out Americans' right in relation to their government. So, it will guarantee civil rights and liberties to the individual, like freedom of speech, press, and religion. So we'll talk about those 10 amendments. The first amendment focuses on freedom of religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, the right to assemble peaceably, the right to petition the government. So let's go with the first clause here. Freedom of religion, meaning the government cannot control the individual when it comes to the choice of religion. In the same way, they cannot influence or somehow prohibit you from joining a certain religion. So, as long as this religion does not violate the rights of others. Now, freedom of speech and press, you have the right to say or print what you want, just as you will not deliberately write or verbalize false malicious statement about somebody. That's what we call slander and libel. Right to assemble peaceably, of course. People have the right to assemble peaceably in groups and voice their complaints, provided that the assembly does not violate the rights of any individual. Okay? Or the right to protest in some books. Right to petition the government. So, if you want to ask a favor or if you want um, to correct a problem, you can write the appropriate office of the government. So that is what we call the right to petition. The Second Amendment, another controversial amendment, is the right to bear arms. Now, the controversy about it is that this particular clause here, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So does that mean that people have the right to own a weapon, no questions asked? Or does it mean that people can own a weapon for the purpose of defending their state as part of their militia? So, a lot of debate regarding this issue here. Third Amendment, no quartering of soldiers. It's very simple. The government does not have the power to order soldiers to be stationed in private homes. Of course, because you will somehow endanger the lives of the public. Fourth Amendment, protection against illegal searches and seizures, as well as the right to privacy. What does the Fourth Amendment mean? That people, their homes, and their property are safe from unfair searches. So we have some vocabulary that we need to remember here. Warrant. So what is a warrant? A warrant is a document issued by a court giving the police the right to make a search, an arrest, or seize property. And then we have the exclusionary rule. What does it mean? So if you have taken an evidence or collected an evidence without a warrant, then they are excluded from trial, meaning they cannot be used in trial as an evidence. Probable cause, a standard required for an officer to arrest such or receive a warrant. So in order to have a warrant, you must have a probable cause. And reasonable suspicion, what is this? A lesser standard that can be used when an officer believes that a criminal act is about to or has taken place. So without a warrant, this is the argument that police officers can make. Better yet, you know, in cases where there is probable cause, warrant is a must. Fifth Amendment, the rights of the accused. So here are the rights of the accused: protection of life, liberty or property, right due process of law, right to grand jury indictment, protection from double jeopardy, and protection against self-incrimination. Let's talk about these one by one. What do we mean by protection of life, liberty, or property right to due process of law? Before the government can deprive a person of life, liberty, or property, the government must apply the regular administration of laws, which must conform to the generally accepted legal principles and be applied without favor or prejudice to all citizens. So there you go. How about right to grand jury indictment? In a felony case, the accused has the right to be indicted by a special jury called a grand jury. A grand jury is a group of 12 to 23 citizens who decide if there is enough evidence against someone to hold a trial. This is for felony cases. So what is a felony? A crime such as murder, burglary, that usually carries a sentence of more than 1 year. So a grand jury needs to indict this particular suspect. What about the rights of the accused? Protection from double jeopardy. So what is this? A person cannot be tried a second time for the same crime once he has been acquitted. Okay, acquit meaning to declare not guilty. You cannot do double jeopardy. So there cannot be tried a second time for the same crime after the acquittal. Protections against self-incrimination. An accused cannot be forced to give evidence that would convict them of the crime. Okay, again, this is a common statement that witnesses say when they want to escape from answering questions. I invoke my right to self-incrimination. All right, so the Fifth Amendment, they kept on calling this amendment when they don't want to answer some questions, which is somehow a form of escape in answering the question. Incriminate, it means to accuse or indicate involvement in a crime. So somehow, if these people are invoking their rights, then it means they're somehow subtly indicating that they're involved in a crime. Anyway, let's go to the Sixth Amendment. The rights of the accused for criminal cases. We have the right to a trial by a jury of peers in criminal cases, right to a speedy trial, right to an attorney, right to cross-examine witnesses. What is a criminal case? This involves violation of the laws. So, right to a trial by jury of peers in criminal cases. A person accused of a crime is entitled to a trial by a fair jury that consists of members of his or her peer group. And When we say speedy trial, anybody accused of a crime has the right to have a trial without having to wait very long. So federal law has set the maximum waiting period to be 100 days between the arrest and the start of a trial. This is good because in some countries this is not happening. A lot of people are stuck in um, state prisons, or they're not receiving proper sentences right away, or trial. Um, right to an attorney, meaning everybody standing for trial for a criminal act is allowed to have um, somebody knowledgeable of the laws defend him or her. This person is usually a lawyer or an attorney. If you don't have money to pay for an attorney, then the government will provide you with a lawyer. Okay, let's proceed. Rights to cross-examine witnesses. In one's own defense, um, the accused is allowed to question witnesses brought by the accuser and is also allowed to bring witness on his own behalf. Okay. Now let's go to the Seventh Amendment. Right to trial by jury of peers in civil cases exceeding $20. Right to due process in civil case. Now what is the civil case? When no law has been broken, but one person believes another has caused them harm. Okay, so this is the opposite of criminal cases. So where a civil suit is brought, therefore, the court's worth more than $20, the defendant is entitled to trial before a jury of his peers. $20. Don't you think that is a little bit small? But anyway, that's under Bill of Rights. So number two, right to due process in civil case. So due process applies civil cases as well, especially with regard to double jeopardy. Because usually civil cases are because of personal grudges and disagreements. Eighth Amendment, rights of the accused for penalty protection. Protection for cruel or unusual punishment, protection from excessive high fines, protection to excessively high bail. So, of course, these are self-explanatory. You cannot receive unusual punishment, okay, or cruel or unnecessarily violent or harsh. Imagine this amendment has been created around 200 years ago, right? More than. But after that, there's still a lot of violations. Of course, now it's not that much, but take us back 100 years ago. Eighth Amendment, protection from excessively high fines. A fine must fit the weight of the crime. And lastly, high bail. What is a bail? Property or money given to make sure that a person released from legal custody will return at an appointed time before the trial. So there, or during the trial, okay? So you cannot have or set an excessively high bail to a suspect. Powers of the people. All people have natural rights. This amendment makes clear that all the rights that were not mentioned in the Constitution were still protected. Okay, so this is like the umbrella amendment where it covers all the natural rights not mentioned in the Constitution. And 10th Amendment, reserved powers. All powers not delegated to the federal government nor denied to the states are reserved to the states or to the people. Okay, those are our Bill of Rights. So just be familiar with the 10 and, Of course, on your test, usually you will be given the list if there is a question pertaining to Bill of Rights. So it's going to be easy, but of course, you should know this. At least you have a background. And I hope that I provided you with the background that you needed for the GED test. Now, thank you so much for your time. And if you want to know more about us, please check our website, that's phuketpals.org, or check us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/phuketpals. Thank you and see you on our next video. Bye bye.